Well, this is new and this is unexpected, and none of us expected to be doing church at your computer or your iPhone. My name is Mark, and this is Ben, and we're part of the AC Students team here. And for you, we're so excited about technology lets us do this because we miss you. We've still been working, and we've been talking to your small group leaders, and we've been praying for you, and we actually miss seeing you in these spaces every single Sunday. So we want to try to help you out because we know for some of you, this is like super stressful for you, the online school or the not seeing your friends. For some of you, you're like, I didn't even realize anything was going on. You still think you're on spring break. We have a full range of things that you're feeling, but we know this. We know that we want to continue to partner with you to help you develop a faith of your own. So how are we going to do that, Ben?
Yeah, so we know you're doing school online, you're not seeing your friends as much, some restaurants are shutting down. We don't think that means the church needs to shut down. And so our team has been working hard to provide some online video content for you to interact with and for you to watch. And so we're about to launch into a video series called How to Pray. And we think this is such a vital resource for you, especially in this time of learning how to connect with God through prayer and how to talk to God through prayer. And so we're really excited about this series, and we can't wait for you to check out this video message.
Things are changing so fast. It seems like every hour there's a new update and there's another change. But one of the things that we're not changing around here is we still want to get you connected to a small group and your small group leader. So after this video, your small group leader should have already set up a time, or they will set up a time very soon, where you can meet virtually or digitally, however you want to say it, whether it's Zoom, FaceTime, whatever you might do, because the conversations that you have in that are just as valuable as what you're about to watch, because it's the power of community that's going to help us push through this.
So sit back, relax, enjoy this message, and we'll see you in a few minutes.
My name is Matt Hayes, and I get to lead Inside Out at Woodstock City Church. Now, first of all, no matter where you are, I just want to say that I hope as you're watching right now, you're safe. And not just you, but your family as well. I mean, listen, the reason why we're gathering like this is crazy. It's an unprecedented time in our lives. But while everything feels so totally different right now, I'm also very excited, and I'm very hopeful that we get to continue being the church, even if we don't get together at a building. Because the church isn't a building, it's a body. It's all of us together. And what we're all experiencing is a big change. And here's what I know. All change comes with hope and fear. And there's fear all around us in the world right now. You don't need me to tell you that. And as all of you are experiencing that, you're having it in different ways. But my heart especially goes out to all of you seniors. Not knowing what the end of your high school experience will look like has to be difficult. See, there are a lot of unknowns for everyone. But we can choose hope in the face of that potential fear that exists because of a few things that we know. God's still in control. God's still good. And God is still trustworthy. We may not know why all of this is happening, but He does. And the changing circumstances don't affect His goodness. Good will come from this in His time and in His way. And perhaps one of the best things available for all of us right now is another truth that we know, is that God still wants to be close to us. We may be distancing ourselves from one another physically, but God's wanting to close that distance with you spiritually. He is still pursuing, still creating, and still loving you. So over the next few weeks, we want to talk about that closeness that we can find to God. Listen, whether you feel close to God right now or you don't, all of us have had moments of wanting God to show up. Whether you meant it or not, it's easy for us to think about a time when we asked God to help us with a test, or for that boy to actually give you some attention, or maybe for UGA to actually somehow, maybe one time even, beat Alabama. Just me? Okay, it's great. Yeah. See, all these small prayers that we have seem so common in our life. But listen, can we even really call them prayers? I mean, are they even really working? Clearly they're not for Georgia. But is that really what prayer is all about? What really is the point of prayer? And how should we actually do it? See, this is something that the people who lived when Jesus did were wondering too, especially once they encountered Him. See, in the culture that Jesus lived in, people were used to prayer, but not like when I prayed that Dr. Grant wouldn't fail me in U.S. history my junior year. No, prayer was a spectacle back then for most religious people. It was like a competition for who had the prettiest and the best and the biggest and the longest verses of prayer. If you heard them pray, you'd actually automatically realize that if they're on the varsity prayer team, I'm pretty sure I'm stuck on the middle school bench. Because for those in that culture, prayer was about trying to impress God, to show off for Him. But then Jesus comes along, And he tells his followers in Matthew 6, no. That's not it. You see how they pray? Did you watch what they just did? Listen, you should do the opposite. Don't babble on with your SAT words, for your Father knows what you need already. And so then they're left wondering. They're standing around like, well, then what does this actually look like? That's all we've seen. That's all we know. How do we actually pray? And so Jesus, like the good teacher that he is, he tells them in Matthew chapter 6, he goes into this prayer, and here's how he starts. He says, this is how you should pray. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Now listen, we can continue down this whole prayer, and many of you right now would have it memorized, and you could say it with me. It's called the Lord's Prayer. We say it growing up. We say it in sports. We say it at different times. But I doubt that you've ever used the word hallowed in normal conversation. So listen, the word hallowed, it just means to be set apart, to be holy. In other words, it's saying, Father in heaven, I acknowledge that you are holy and that you are great. And Jesus is saying, start that way. And then he continues. He says, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And right here, Jesus shows us the point of prayer. And we're going to spend the next 2 weeks walking through the rest of this prayer. But right here at the beginning, Jesus shows us what prayer is really all about. See, while those in Jesus' time wanted to make prayer about their big words, and we so often want to make prayer about our big requests, Jesus says that it should be the other way around. Jesus says, God, it's your kingdom first. It's your will be done. It's your desires and your plan and your story and your timing. God, you do whatever it takes through me to make your kingdom come, not mine. See, listen, we got to get this right. Prayer is not about you getting God onto your agenda. Prayer is all about you getting onto God's. Because when we focus on him, it takes our eyes off of our big problems and our big requests, and it lets us see how much bigger he is than all of that. When you focus on him first, it builds this trust within you for him, and that is what he wants from you. He wants a relationship with you, one that's built on trust. Even when the world seems to be falling apart and there is a pandemic sweeping through all of humanity, this proverbial sky is falling. But while we're all freaking out, I need you to know, God's not. He's just fine. And the more time that you spend with him, the more that your fears and your anxieties, your worries, your doubts, your frustrations, they start to diminish. Now, they may not all go away, but he meets you right where you are. And he says, listen, my son, my daughter, I got you. Just come and be a part of what I want to do in your life, because everything, all of it, it's on purpose. So the next time that you're hesitant to pray, or maybe you don't know what to pray, or you're not really even sure if God's even there, I just want you to know something simple. Prayer isn't about showing off. It's about showing up. Just show up. See what happens when you align your heart with the heart of Jesus in prayer. Not for your agenda, but for his. Not for your will, but for his. Not for your kingdom, but for his. It's literally saying, God, you do what you want to do. That's what I want first. And then after you do that, keep showing up. See, over the next few weeks, we're going to walk through the rest of the prayer that Jesus shows us to unlock even more about prayer. It's something that's offered to all of us, and it's available to all of us. So while we're all distancing ourselves over the next few weeks, what would it look like for you to actually draw closer to God through prayer? And now what I'd love to do is actually put into practice what we just preached. So would y'all pray with me? Father, thank you so much that you make yourself available to us. Thank you that this isn't something that's a spectacle. It's not something that we have to figure out on our own. It's not something that we have to know enough of. God, this is simply you saying, I want to be where you are. So Father, I pray and I ask that every single student right now who's listening, who's joining in, Father, I ask that you would give them such peace in the midst of all this fear. God, such hope in the midst of all this change, that we will be able to find that you are in the middle of this and that we can trust you. That even when we don't know what's going on, we can trust you. And if we would simply say, we want your kingdom first, we want your will first, we want you to do what it is that only you can do first. That when we do that, we find that you are right there, making everything not just for your good, but for ours as well. So we lean into that and we trust that and we love you that we get to even have a conversation with you through prayer. So may you spur us on. And as we draw near to you, would you draw near to us? Thank you for loving us first. We love you right back. In Jesus' name, amen. Hey, so listen, your conversation with your online groups is about to happen, and we can't wait for that to happen. So please enjoy that. And make sure that you stay connected with your local Inside Out, because we're not stopping even though we're not in a building. The church isn't a building, it's a body. It's a family, and this family is for everyone. So let's stay connected, fam, and we'll see you back here next week.
Well, that was an incredible message, Mark, on how we can pray and how we can begin to push through the awkwardness that prayer can sometimes be in our lives, and how we can take steps towards talking to God.
Yeah, man. We hope your small group time is going to be so good. We hope you have some great conversation there. Also, have conversation with us on Instagram. We don't want to just post stuff and be lonely up there. So jump in our comments, send us a message, let us know how we can pray for you. And for real, we can't wait to see you soon in real life. But until then, we'll see you on your screen real soon.